Hello and welcome to Who Watches Who, a Doctor Who podcast with our first fucking breaking news episode in what feels like a long-ass time. They finally dropped the trailer for Doctor Who. Oh my god, the trailer's here and it's really short.
It is, yeah. I was expecting short, but...
I wasn't expecting just over a minute. I was expecting like maybe 2 minutes. That's what I was hoping for.
You know, compared to the first trailer we got, which was like, 30 seconds? This is long, I guess. Twice as long, technically.
And yeah, it tells us just the same amount of information as before.
Yeah. But you know, sometimes it's nice going and being surprised. We don't know anything about what's going on. There's a train, there's paintings, there's a lot of stuff. There is a lot of stuff,
for sure. We've not really talked about how we're going to take this. Are we just going to do it fucking frame by frame, scene by scene, or what? Sorry,
yeah,
I'm sick. I'm ill at the moment. Yeah, I'm ill at the moment, so I'm sure that was some really good audio.
It was.
Chris Chibnall knew I was going to be sick, and he was like, "Now's the time to launch the trailer. We've got to get this out now. Go, 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 go. Make sure they make the worst possible audio for talking about this."
Which is funny because I remember I was sick. The first trailer, you know, the Sea Devils. I had COVID around that weekend, so
I don't have COVID right now. I just have a cold, but
yeah, but my COVID felt like a cold, so it's same apples and oranges.
Yeah. Anyway, right. Let's look at this trailer, shall we?
A dozen of the world's leading seismologists have gone missing. 15 of the world's most valuable paintings have disappeared.
Can I let you in on a little secret?
A Dalek incursion on Earth is imminent.
Has it never occurred to you that it could be a trap?
This is the day you are erased forever. Bit of a conversation stopper.
So the trailer opens up with, you know, some new footage that we've not seen before. We see the TARDIS flying over this train thing, which is just making me think of that audio drama. The Big Finish one with the Master on the train. I know that we knew this was going to have a train in it.
Yeah.
But it's just because we talked about that. That's all I'm thinking of in the moment.
Yeah, which one with Eric Roberts, which is releasing this month, with him on a train, which is basically a Snowpiercer.
Yeah. It's weird that this also has a train in it. It's just a coincidence, or maybe it's not. Maybe Eric Roberts is in this. Imagine if he is. We know Chib was a fan of the movie. Like,
actually, I wonder when the Master Phil, what was it called, Nemesis?
I have no idea.
I wonder when that was recorded, because what came first, you know?
Yeah. We also get a shot of Jodie just kind of standing about a place as the Master in his full fucking Rasputin look is chatting to her. The Master's look changes quite a bit. In this trailer, he goes from this really unshaven, like manic looking to the super, super clean shaven, like cleaner than we've ever seen him shaved before, I think, because usually he has a beard.
Or maybe it's the other way around, you know?
Or maybe it's the other way around. But I feel like this is more him in a disguise, because if you remember back to that interview, he was talking about how he really wanted to explore the Master being a master of disguise without changing his face.
You know, he could be posing as the real Rasputin, you know?
Yeah.
It would make a lot of sense for him to do. And also, this indicates another fucking scene of just Jodie standing around while the Master delivers exposition to her. I hope that's not the case.
It's definitely the case. It'll be exposition scene followed by an action scene followed by an exposition scene followed by an action scene. This is also, we then cut to some generic images of like volcanoes erupting and stuff, and we get voiceover from Kate Stewart as we then see her marching through what we presume to be a unit facility, even though unit was like shut down and defunded. Don't worry too much about that. As she's describing these paintings going missing a la the 50th anniversary is immediately what it made both you and I think of. And we see Ace standing in a museum looking at a blue wall, presumably because a piece of missing has gone there, a piece of art has gone missing from there, or she's a really big fan of the Shade. You know, what do you think's more likely? She's
maybe she's just pretending to be Kingpin from Daredevil.
Yeah,
Just staring at the wall.
It's glorious. It's a great piece of art. We then see the Doctor and Yaz on some sort of planet where the sky is all blue. I don't really know what that is, although it kind of vaguely, just like in my memory. Do you remember in Flux where Swarm was? That weird, like he was like held captive, like just kind of in this like weird spacey bit. I don't remember the exact what the landscape looked like. Like it vaguely reminds me of that. Like it might be something to do with the Division.
What this looks like, it just looks like a quarry, but with a space sky. You know?
Which is
Like
probably
every
what it
Doctor
is.
Who.
It's a space quarry.
Yeah.
We then get a very, very cool looking shot of a building exploding, and that's something that's basically recurring throughout this trailer. Is the special effects look fucking ace compared to what we had to deal with through Flux.
Ha! You said it, ace.
Haha, puns. But compared to what, like, the special effects in Flux, which, you know, pandemic, whatever, you know, rushed production, you know, but the effects in this, I think, are some of the best looking effects Doctor Who's had in a while.
There's one shot in here that looks a bit funky, but we'll get to that. But overall, yeah, I think this special effects looks pretty decent. I felt the special effects on Flux looked pretty decent.
There was some
on the whole.
There was some large chunks of Flux that were painful.
Especially in the opening scene where Yaz and the Doctor are upside down talking to the dog with the poison in his brain.
Oh my god, yeah. Jesus Christ.
I wonder if he's coming back.
I hope so. He was fun. We then cut to the Doctor and Dan and Yaz dropping in front of the train, which is what I think that's how the episode's going to open. To me, it feels this is how the episode's opening. Like the way that they're talking and jovial, it doesn't feel like there's much drama going on. I think maybe something goes wrong in the train or something like that, and we catch them like halfway through an adventure. But I think I would put money on the episode opening on this train.
Yeah, like the opening heist action piece.
Yeah.
We don't see a lot of Dan outside of these scenes where he's on the train, do we?
No.
Like, I think we only see him in these scenes where he's in space and the train in the orange suit.
Yeah.
So does Dan go missing or die?
I hope not. But, like, what's the point of being alive anyway? But
and also, this isn't the first space train we've seen in Doctor Who. If you remember Mummy on the Orient Express, which was like a very jazzy kind of 1920s-esque.
It was a sci-fi version of the Murder on the Orient Express story. So,
true.
You know, it was a fun little thing.
It was.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that episode in forever, but it was like one of the best episodes of Series 8 for sure.
Speaking of those orange suits, of course you can't have Doctor Who without using that same random orange suit that they used in that one episode with the devil and have just continued to reuse inexplicably with every Doctor since then, without ever... The Doctor's just a huge fucking fan of that spacesuit.
I'm following this. We have a shot of the TARDIS in like a mushroom kingdom.
It's like where I am.
Basically.
It's like where I am right now. Like...
It is. Basically, Mario, was played by Chris Pratt, shows up and he's like, "It's me." But yeah, it doesn't look quite good. I think the TARDIS kind of feels like it's just a stock photograph. It feels weird. I don't know how to explain it, but it doesn't look like the TARDIS is in that environment. It looks pretty.
Yeah, okay, I kind of get what you mean. It's more the background looks very like PS4 rendered than anything, but for like I think it's fine. It's acceptable enough, honestly.
Yeah.
We then get a shot of the Master in the TARDIS, presumably talking to Yaz, as Yaz is about to fucking cap him in the face with a gun.
I know.
Which is it's wild seeing one, a companion with a gun in modern Who, two, a gun inside the TARDIS, three, a gun pointed at the Master. Do you think Yaz will pull the trigger? Yeah. Somehow, I don't think she will, because what would the Doctor do? She'll see engraved on the side of the gun.
But yeah, this feels like it's Yaz, their most desperate point. Maybe the Master has done something to the Doctor to make her not exist anymore, because he keeps threatening the Doctor won't exist after today. And also maybe he killed Dan early on in the story.
Maybe.
This is just theories.
I hope not.
But it does feel like Yaz are most desperate because we've never really seen her point a gun at someone before, have we? I can't
No.
think of any Yaz scenes in general, to be honest.
Rewatching, because I've obviously been going over Jodie's era these past few weeks. Yaz doesn't really do much of anything ever. I don't really recall her having a gun. Usually, if there was a gun, they would give it to Ryan. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Was it Ryan? Was that?
Yeah.
That sounds wrong. That feels wrong. Was it Ryan? Really? That's his name? Graham and Ryan. Ryan feels wrong. I don't know why. But we get a shot of a TARDIS, not a TARDIS hologram, a Dalek hologram in the TARDIS talking to the Doctor, basically being like, hey, we're in this story as well, and we're mass producing Daleks on Geonosis. As we cut to a shot of the big factory.
I'm sure Vidalic is also saying, help me, Obi-Wan. Obi, you're my only hope.
Yeah, definitely. Then we get a shot of the three of them in the orange spacesuits throwing a ladder out, which I think is probably still to do with the train heist.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that's got anything really to do with the overarch. I think that's train heist stuff because of those orange suits.
They need to access this train somehow, so they climb down the ladder.
And then jump.
They access
Yeah.
that fridge. Yeah.
Yeah. We also then get a shot of Game of Thrones boy, one of our favorite characters from Flux, whose name I don't remember.
Vindor or something.
Yeah, something like that, standing outside the TARDIS with very orange windows. If you pause it on the frame, the TARDIS looks very evil.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's like the Master's TARDIS or something, because we do see something a little bit later on that makes me think that we're going to be seeing multiple TARDISes here, because we literally see multiple TARDISes.
Yeah. Maybe it's just the inside of the TARDIS is destroyed. It's on fire. The Master caused it with the scene with him and Yaz earlier on.
It's
and
a
Vindor
very
shows up because he.
It's a very orange episode, like color palette wise. Everything is very orange. Like even the shots inside the TARDIS that we're seeing seem more orange than ever. So maybe it's the TARDIS is on like orange alert or red alert, and everything goes orange or something. You know.
Which works out well thematically because when the Doctor regenerates,
it's very
they
orange.
often just shoot out orange. Yeah, so it works out well. It's a good color palette to have.
Yeah,
and it contrasts with the blue very nicely.
Yes. We get a shot where Yaz is telling the Doctor that she's stupid and that she's definitely walking into a trap. Then we see the outside of the TARDIS, but it's not as you would presume it to be. The Joker's gotten a hold of it and has scribbled ha 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 all over the police box, please call for help thing, which I think it's a pretty fun visual, if anything, you know.
Yeah.
It
reminds me of the end of Turn Left when the TARDIS just says bad wolf.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I presume it's a message from the Master just being like, ha ha ha, I won this, or I'm gonna win this.
We get a shot of this...
Or the Joker.
Or the Joker, yeah, of course. We get a shot of this weird CGI ethereal spore thing. Maybe it's like a remnants of Flux. It's probably the thing that's going to like miraculously let them win the day. Is my guess is that's like a big MacGuffin. But I don't worry too much about that.
Or it's the thing that shows up to erase the Doctor from existence. Maybe it is a remnant of Flux. It's like the last particle of flux that remains or something.
Yeah, could be. We then get the Master looking very, very clean-shaven, basically telling the Doctor that she's going to die and there's going to be this big war. And we cut to two planets firing missiles at one another. And my first thought when I saw this was, Mondas! Because obviously we're just covering the 10th planet now, which is about the twin planet to Earth, Mondas coming back and the Cybermen being like, oh, we're going to blow up the Earth because we need to not blow up. And this has got the Cybermen in it, it's got the Master in it. Fucking, it's an Earth-looking planet. It feels Mondasi to me. Feels Mondasi.
Yeah.
Which
I wouldn't be shocked because this episode does represent like the entirety of Doctor Who. Is kind of like the prototype 60th anniversary. It's like 59th anniversary special, really. You think about it.
Yeah, and what's interesting as well is if you look, this is, looking at the Earth and maybe Mondas from the perspective of this mushroom planet, which perhaps is a moon, a Mondasian moon or something like that.
Yeah.
But
also, was the bets on this being erased? Like everyone on Earth remembers this event during the episode, and then the next episode, nobody remembers the time they were in like a battle,
A
with
nuclear
another
war
planet
with
and they were fighting
Mondas.
rockets.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, because that's Doctor Who's curse, isn't it? Doctor Who's curse
Yeah.
is that you have these huge, literally, the world is about to end events every few years, and everybody just kind of gets over it really quickly because otherwise they'd go fucking insane.
Like, what if the Doctor sacrifices herself at the end and does like a Superman? Was it Superman 1 or 2 where he
where he
travels
flies around the
planet
Earth to undo time.
to
Yeah.
reverse time? Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be the Doctor just like, yeah, I'm going to use the power of the TARDIS. I'm going to regenerate. It'd probably be ridiculous, but you know, I could see Chibnall doing something like that.
Yeah, we get a little bit more of the Master talking, but then we cut to something that's even more interesting, and that's Starkiller Base is in this episode, as we see what is inexplicably the Death Star, or Starkiller Base, because it's firing a big red laser shooting at the Earth. Perhaps this is a Mondasian weapon or a Dalek weapon or something, just going in to destroy the Earth. I feel like the Earth is getting blown the fuck up a lot in this trailer, you know?
It is, yeah. Yeah, it definitely feels, it's probably the Daleks, because we've seen them build something on a, they were mining something, and they probably harnessed this energy somehow. It's all going to be sci-fi nonsense we're not really going to understand, but we're going to nod, pretend we understand it, you know?
We then get a shot of our favourite guy, the lone Cyberman, looking all grumpy, shooting at people. What's the chances he does absolutely fuck all in this episode? I'm thinking quite high.
100%.
There's too much.
Yeah, very high.
Like, there's already... I know they're saying it's like the feature-length special or whatever the fuck, but there are so many characters in this trailer alone. Like, you know, Dalek, Cyberman, Master, Lone Cyberman, Ace, Tegan, Yaz, Dan, the Doctor, the guy from Game of Thrones. That's 10. Like,
I know.
Oh, Kate Stewart's here.
Yeah, and also Graham is going to show up, and there's other
Graham's
teases
back.
of like,
Yeah.
There's rumors that maybe another Doctor will show up or another companion. It's going to be it's going to be fan servicey, to say the least.
I hope it is without being too stupid. You know, I hope it's still.
Yeah.
I hope it's dumb and fun and not dumb and frustrating. You know,
because this trailer does look dumb and fun. You know, it's actiony. It looks like it's going to be a big blockbuster bash. You know, it's going to be fun.
If you think back to Flux, the Flux trailer was fun. The Flux trailer, we were like, this looks like it's got a lot going on, you know? I'm interested into who these guys are. And this trailer reminds me so much of Flux, because the Flux trailer wasn't long either and didn't give away much story. You know, it was like quick cuts and action set piece. And it turns out Flux was a piece of shit. So, you know, I'm still like, is this going to be good? Probably not, but I'm still gonna watch it like 15 times for the fucking podcast. Like,
yeah, I'm optimistic. You know, we're 2 weeks away from it. It feels like it was never gonna come out, but now we know a date, and it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be interesting for sure.
It is. We get a shot of the Doctor and presumably Yaz running into the TARDIS as shots are fired at them, hitting the console. No sign of Dan still. What has happened to Dan? Is he safe? Is my boy okay?
Yeah. You would think Dan would be in this scene, but yeah, the only promotional images is of him in that orange suit, which suggests he's only in that scene.
Oh God, no, not Dan, please. He's the best companion Jodie's had since Graham. We then get a very interesting shot, perhaps the most interesting, which is the giant tentacle laser thing shooting a red laser, much like the thing that Starkiller Base fires, but also there's two TARDISes in this shot. There's a TARDIS on the far left of the screen and a TARDIS on the far right of the screen. Is this perhaps Fugitive Doctor? Because we know that she had a blue TARDIS inexplicably, you know, or perhaps it is a guest appearance from another Doctor, you know, like fucking Peter Capaldi shows up and he's like, "Oh, fuck you."
So honestly, I thought you were going to say Peter Cushing there, but also
be amazing.
The comics do explain kind of how the TARDIS that the Fugitive Doctor has turns into a police box. I'm sure we'll cover it in their news podcast next month, but it's going to be interesting to cover that story.
Right. We then get a very quick shot of the Master snapping his fingers as we cut back to what's definitely the start of the episode. Everybody on that train heist where Dan is back in his orange costume, definitely alive. He's going to be okay this entire episode. We see Ace parachuting down. Things are getting fucking quick with cuts here.
Yeah, to go back, it looks like we're being sucked into something, maybe?
Maybe. I took it as...
it's hard to really tell because
it's
just
hard. There's like a spaceship.
It's just like a millisecond.
There's like a spaceship on the right hand side that looks like a stick. So maybe they're like doing the train heist and get like sucked out by something else.
So maybe Dan gets sucked into like a black hole, which is what the Master created to erase the Doctor from existence or something.
Maybe.
I don't know. Just
no idea.
This is all fan theories. This is the most fan theory-ish we've ever been, but Ace jumping out of that fucking parachute looks ace.
Yeah, yeah.
It looks great. I love it. And she's in her classic suit. It looks awesome. I'm very happy.
We get that shot of Tegan and Ace firing machine guns at Cybermen that we saw in the last trailer when they revealed the episode. And then we cut to, again, a very Star Wars-y looking shot with a spaceship like flying towards whatever this blue Starkiller base planet is. So I feel like maybe the finale of the episode takes place on the maybe it's like this fucking cyber planet that's not Mondas but the other one. Maybe this is like a planetary version of the Siberium. There could be a lot going on because it's that blue chrome that makes me think Cyberman more less so than Daleks. But I'm not sure. Also, maybe that second planet's Gallifrey. Maybe it's not Mondas, because Gallifrey is an Earth-like planet, and we know that Gallifrey was kind of left. It got nuked, but the Master inexplicably survived, as did all the Cybermen that he brought, so that old man killed himself for nothing. So, presumably, Gallifrey is still within the hands of the Master, and he just fucking yeets it across towards Earth to take its place, perhaps?
Perhaps. Anything could happen, really, in this story. There's so much lore to Doctor Who these days.
There's a lot. Speaking of anything can happen, the Doctor says that exact thing as the space train goes flying by. We then get another shot of the Doctor and Yaz running as lasers shoot at them. Again, no Dan. What's Dan doing? Where's my Dan? Where is Dan? Where is my Dan?
Yeah, I imagine this scene is directly before they run into the TARDIS with the shots firing at them. Feels like it makes sense, and I presume we're running to the TARDIS, but yeah,
where Dan already is. Nice
Dan. Maybe he's just sleeping.
Yaz says that she doesn't want things to end, as we get a fucking blink and you miss it shot of a spaceship taking off, and then we're in an elevator shaft. Some explosions happen. Cut again. We're in space. Lasers were flying. There's a fucking so much action happening in this trailer. The episode itself, I mean, fair dues, they said to us this is an action heavy finale. This is constant action, and just from the trailer alone, it seems like there's going to be a lot of people firing lasers at walls and not hitting any characters.
And this was still filmed during the height of the pandemic. This was under COVID restrictions, and it looks great. It does. I wouldn't say it's the most blockbustery Doctor Who's ever looked, but it looks really solid. I wish we could have seen it on the big screen. It's
the most blockbustery Doctor Who has felt in a long time. Yeah. When I think blockbuster Doctor Who, I think, obviously the 50th anniversary, maybe Matt Smith's finale, but even then that was pretty grounded in small scale. Like David Tennant's his third season finale was blockbustery, where you had all the Daleks and the Stolen Earth and, Dr. Donna and shit like that. That was blockbuster Doctor Who. This is reminiscing of that for me.
And speaking of reminiscing of the Russell T Davies era, Russell T Davies Daleks are back.
Which is the best version of the Daleks, isn't it? They're the best looking. They're the best looking Daleks. Whenever they changed them, it never looked as good as this.
Yeah, they definitely look the best. Just the classic look, but also updated enough so it feels like it's modern. It looks great. And they can never really fix that. They tried and tried and tried, but it never really works out for them.
It's the best looking one. And then we got our final shot of the trailer, which is the shot that we've seen before of Jodie regenerating, screaming Yaz. Although the audio for this one seems weird. Do you not think the audio for Yaz seems really like distorted and quiet compared to the rest of the audio in the trailer? It sounds strange.
Yeah, it sounds like she's being muted by kind of like special effects sounds, Like maybe there's a big explosion going on and you can barely hear over the explosion. So in this trailer, they kind of amp up the sound.
Yeah,
I'm convinced this isn't her regeneration scene because it doesn't feel like a regeneration. It feels like it's like a portal around her. Rather than
it could
she's
be.
Doing.
It could be.
Like it could be a portal that is raising her from time, which is what the Master is teasing throughout this entire trailer.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't. All the reports or the rumors even are that she regenerates on a cliffside. This very much looks like it's inside a TARDIS still. Perhaps not her TARDIS. Maybe it's like the Master's TARDIS or whatever. But it's clearly inside. There's like some sort of wall behind her.
Yeah, she also looks like she's covered up by like a panel or something. It looks like there's
like
a
she's in like a tube.
Right
she's like in a tube or something.
Yeah.
Interesting.
She's in the tube from Willy Wonka. The chocolate.
yeah. She was drinking from the river.
Tube.
Yeah. But that brings us to the end of the trailer, where we obviously get the title reveal that we saw before, which is Doctor Who and the Power of the Doctor. Which is, it's a fine title. It's pretty good as far as titles go. And we get our release date for the 23rd of October, which is basically what we thought it was going to be. It was
we
more or
thought
less
it was going to
confirmed.
be we thought it was going to be the 23rd of October all along, basically, because the centenary week ends on that day, and it was a Sunday, and it makes most sense to air Doctor Who on a Sunday because that's where most Chibnall episodes have aired. Makes perfect sense. But yeah, that's the power of a Doctor.
It is. What do you think? What do you think about this trailer?
I am cautiously optimistic. Whatever happens, I think the most positive outcome will be, we've kind of misjudged Chibnall maybe a little bit. We can see where he was coming from the entire time. I don't think the most positive outcome will be, I can suddenly see his era as like one of the best. I don't ever see that happening now. It's too late. But I can see it just being, he's misunderstood. I can see what he was trying to achieve in his run.
I mean, we got that.
We
got that when we were going through Chibnall month.
And I think the worst outcome from this episode will be, that was fun. That was fun. It didn't mean anything, but I had fun watching it. That feels like it's going to happen. It was forgettable, maybe, like the Sea Devils.
Yeah, my biggest fear is it's like the Sea Devils, because the Sea Devils was honestly incomprehensible. Like, it was a really bad episode of Doctor Who. It was fucking unbelievably incomprehensible, and there was so much going on, and I didn't care about any of it. So far, I don't get that vibe off this trailer. This trailer seems to be much more like it's going to actually tell you the story with entertaining action, whereas the Sea Devils was just a lot of shit happening on screen. I'm excited cautiously for this centenary regeneration. I'm nervous as fuck as to if Jodie's going to actually regenerate into Shooty or if she's going to regenerate to David Tennant. I have no idea.
But maybe the whole regenerating to David Tennant will work out in terms of the plot. Maybe she gets erased by the end of the episode from existence, and she ends up in like a pocket timeline where she's suddenly David Tennant and she has to work out what's going on.
Could be.
That could be something that Russell T Davies works in. That could be an interesting angle. But, we'll see. Just
looking at the comments on the YouTube page, which I'm sure is a lovely place to look just to see what other people are thinking. Genovator94 says, "This looks like a great episode for Jodie's finale. I'm so pumped and glad we have an air date now. Bring on October 23rd. The name is Liam said, "Speaking as someone who hasn't liked this era, this honestly has me hyped as hell. Fair play." 93 Chowow Entertainment said, "Even so, I was prepared for her time to come to an end. It still feels like the last few years went by so fast. I'm excited for the special and the arriving of the next Doctor." So far, like all the comments are ridiculously positive. Illusion System went ace. Yeah. Tegan, cannot wait. I have mixed feelings about 13 Zera, but massive thanks to Jodie for her dedication to the show. Bring on the new era. Which is really nice to see
entirely
for once.
possible. It's entirely possible that the BBC marketing department are deleting all the negative comments. Or the negative comments have just not been filtered in properly. But I imagine we'll look at this tomorrow and there'll be mostly negative. I don't imagine it will be mostly negative comments, but I wish YouTube still had the like to dislike ratio. I would want to see.
I'd be curious as to see. What
I know.
the dislike
I know.
is.
There's a Chrome edition add-on. I could maybe add that.
Everybody,
They'll
like,
probably
I've
take
not
it.
seen a bad comment so far. This is insane. Everybody's like, looks great. Special effects look good. I'm gonna miss Jodie. It's got ups and downs, but I've liked the ending. This trailer looks good. Sweaty Chazza just says, I love Doctor Who so much.
And also, if you scroll down, you know how sometimes it's like, oh yeah, you like this video, you want to buy the Doctor Who box set on DVD or on Amazon or something. Doctor Who: The Macra Terror, which is like a Patrick Troughton episode. I wonder if that fits into anything.
But yeah, so we are 2 weeks away, Scott, from watching this episode, from watching Jodie regenerate. It's insane.
Yeah, we just approached the 4-year anniversary of her first episode coming out. It's been a wild 4 years, man.
Yeah, it honestly, it doesn't feel like 4 years.
I mean, last year around this time, we were reacting to the trailer for Flux.
Ice cream van.
Yes.
Yes, we were reacting to Flux, and we were so full of optimism, and somehow we're still full of optimism even after Flux burned us. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, I guess, as to what this episode's going to bring, and say farewell to Jodie as the Doctor. It feels weird saying it, and presumably say hello again to David Tennant. Like,
it still doesn't feel like she started, really. It just feels like we kind of blinked and she was gone. It feels so strange.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting era to look back on in a few years. With, I'm curious as to how time's going to treat her era as the Doctor, because it feels so disconnected from everything. But
it does. It definitely does.
Yeah, but we shall wrap up this breaking news episode now. Thank you very much for listening and watching. You can find us on Facebook at Who Watches Who, on Twitter at Watches Doctor, on YouTube at Who Watches Who, where this podcast is available in video form as well as in audio form anywhere you listen to podcasts. Bunch of links in the descriptions. You can send us your thoughts on the trailer and your thoughts on Jodie as a whole as the Doctor by sending your emails to whowatcheswhopod@gmail.com, or simply leave a comment on the YouTube page or the Facebook page. I'll fucking find it, and we'll read it out at the end of the month in our news podcast. But until then, see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.